Hello everyone, welcome to our YouTube channel, The Exploring Medico. So here is the video for blood and physiology. So what is blood? Blood is a fluid connective tissue. Fluid connective tissue. There are various types of connective tissues such as bone, then cartilage, adipose tissue, and two more. One of them is blood, a fluid connective tissue which transports substances from one part of the body to another. Various substances like oxygen and carbon dioxide and various minerals are transported from one part of the body to another. It provides nutrients and hormones to the tissues and removes their waste products. So it provides nutrition and hormones to our body tissues and collects the waste products from the tissues and transport it from body tissue to the heart, and then it is excreted. Blood confined in the cardiovascular system constitutes a major part of the extracellular fluid in the blood. Blood is the part in the cardiovascular system, and it is the major part of the extracellular fluid of the body. What is extracellular fluid? The fluid which remains in the outside of the cell, it is extracellular fluid. Then some of the important physical characteristics of the blood. So various characteristics and properties are there. One of them is color. Color of the blood is opaque red due to the pigment hemoglobin in the red blood cells. So hemoglobin provides the red color to the blood. The arterial blood is bright red and venous blood is dark red in color. Then the volume of the blood. Volume of the blood in an average adult is about 5 to 6 liter, which makes about 8% of the body weight or 80 ml per kg of the body weight. So total amount of blood is 5 to 6 liters. Then viscosity of blood is 5 times more than that of water. Viscosity means thickness. Thickness of the blood is 5 times more than that of water. 5 times more viscous. Then specific gravity of blood. Specific gravity of blood is 1.050 to 1.060. Specific gravity of RBC is greater than that of plasma. So the specific gravity of RBC is 1.090, which is greater than plasma, which is 1.030. Then pH of blood is about 7.4. The ranges from 7.38 to 7.42. pH blood is not acidic nor alkaline. It is slightly alkaline, but most of the time it is neutral. It is slightly alkaline in nature. In acidosis, pH of blood falls below 7.38, and in alkalosis, pH is more than 742. In acidosis, the blood becomes acidic whose pH falls below 7.38, so about 6 or 5 or anything less than 7.38. And in alkalosis, pH is more than 742, which means blood becomes alkaline whose pH is more than 7.42. Blood is composed of two main components, plasma and cellular elements. Yes, we all know blood is composed of blood cells and plasma. So the characteristics we saw five characteristics, that is blood, color, then volume, then viscosity, specific gravity, and pH. 5. Now we'll talk about plasma. Plasma constitutes about 55% of the blood volume. It is a clear straw colored fluid portion of the blood. So its color is clear straw colored. Means it is a clear transparent fluid. Plasma proteins, an important constituent of plasma, form about 7% of its volume. Plasma also has plasma proteins, which is an important constituent of plasma, which forms about 7% of its volume. Of the total plasma, the 7% is plasma proteins. Cellular elements of blood are about 45% of the total blood volume and constitute the so-called packed cell volume. Cellular elements, the blood cells, cellular elements of the blood are about 45% of the total blood volume. The total amount of the blood constitutes 45% of blood cells, and that is called the packed cell volume. The blood cells are erythrocytes, which is known as RBCs, then leukocytes, blood cells which help in immunity, that are white blood cells, then platelets or known as thrombocytes. RBCs are 5 million per microliter, then WBCs are 4,000 to 11,000 per microliter, and thrombocytes or platelets are 1.5 to 4 lakh per microliter. Now next are the functions of blood. There are various functions of the blood. We'll discuss it one by one. First is nutritive function. Blood carries the nutritive substances like glucose, amino acids, fatty acids, vitamins, electrolytes, and others from the gut to the tissues where they are utilized. So it tries to say that various minerals and nutritive substances mentioned are transported from the production house to the tissues where they are utilized. From the gut to the tissues, they are carried by blood. The second function is respiratory function. Blood picks up oxygen from the lungs and delivers it to the various tissues. Most important function of the blood is uninterrupted delivery of oxygen to the heart and the brain. It also carries away carbon dioxide from the tissues of the lungs, from where it is expelled out in the air. So blood is a transport system for respiratory functions also. uh, Oxygen, where it is where it is purified in the lungs, oxygen is taken up from the lungs and it is delivered to various tissues by the blood. And most important function of the blood is uninterrupted delivery of oxygen to the heart. Blood supplies oxygen to the heart and even the brain. It also carries away carbon dioxide from the tissues to the lungs, from which it is expelled out in the expired air. So, tissues which make carbon dioxide is carried away by the blood from tissues to the lungs and it is expelled out in the air. Then, excretory function. Blood transports various metabolic waste products such as urea, uric acid, and creatinine to excretory organs for their disposal. Various waste products that are formed in the kidney, skin, intestine, or lungs. That waste products are urea, uric acid, and creatinine, and various others. They are carried away from the production house to the organs, excretory organs, for their disposal, and it is transported by blood. Then, transport function. The various hormones produced by endocrine glands, the biological enzymes and antibodies are transported by the blood to target tissue to modulate metabolic process. So metabolic process is helped by the blood and by its transport function. So various hormones that are produced in the endocrine glands, various endocrine glands like pituitary, pancreas, even many others. They are hormones that are produced, they are carried away to the target tissue by blood, and various enzymes and antibodies are also carried by the blood. Then, protective function. Blood plays an important role in the defense mechanism of the body. We all know that WBCs act as the first defense mechanism in the body. So, neutrophils and monocytes engulf the microorganisms entering the body by phagocytosis. Neutrophils are the first cells to generate immunity or defense mechanism against the microorganisms. Neutrophils and monocytes have the main function of phagocytosis. What is phagocytosis? Uh, the WBCs, that are neutrophils and monocytes, engulf the microorganisms. Engulf means to swallow or to eat in the regular language or layman language. We call it to eat or to engulf. Then lymphocytes and gamma globulins initiate immune response. We all know lymphocytes and gamma globulins initiate immune response. They start the immune response. Eosinophils accomplish detoxification, disintegration, and removal of toxics or foreign proteins. Means detoxification means they recognize the toxic substances present uh, in the blood or various parts of the body, and they try to kill them or removal of toxic substances. Then disintegration means to lose the strength or making it break down, and removal of foreign proteins. Foreign proteins are broken down into pieces and they are removed by eosinophils. Then homeostatic function. Blood plays an important role in maintaining the internal environment of the body, that is homeostatic function. Homeostasis means maintaining the equilibrium between the internal environment and external environment. So, blood plays an important role in it, maintaining the internal environment of the body. That is homeostatic function. The water content of the body is freely interchangeable with the interstitial fluid and helps in maintaining the water and electrolytic balance of the body. So, what in blood, water content is also present in the form of plasma. That water content is freely interchangeable with the interstitial fluid. That water content can be changed with the interstitial fluid, and it helps in maintaining the water and electrolyte balance of the body. In blood, the water and electrolytic balance uh, is kept by the blood. Then plasma proteins and hemoglobin act as buffers and help in maintaining the acid base balance and pH of the body fluids. Plasma proteins and hemoglobin are well known buffers. Buffers means they try to maintain the hemostatic balance. They are known as buffers. pH maintenance. They help in maintaining the acid base balance and pH of the body fluids. Maintain the pH. Then, maintenance of body temperature. Blood plays an important role in regulation of the body temperature as described. So it plays an important role, a major role in regulation of the body temperature. Specific heat of blood is high, which is useful in buffering the sudden changes in the body temperature. So, as we all discussed, there is a specific heat of blood which is high, and it is useful in buffering the sudden changes. If sudden changes takes place in the body temperature, then this specific heat of blood which is used in buffering is much helpful to maintain the body temperature. Then high heat conductivity of blood renders it possible for distribution of heat from deep organs to the skin and lungs for dissipation. High heat conductivity. Blood has the property of heat conductivity, which renders it possible for distribution of heat from deep organs to the skin. To maintain the temperature, heat from the deep organs is conducted from the organ to the skin and lungs for its dissipation or excretion of heat by the blood. Due to high latent heat of evaporation of blood, a large amount of heat is lost from the body by evaporation of water from lungs and skin. So, blood also has the property of high latent heat of evaporation, and so a large amount of heat is lost from the body by evaporation of water from lungs and skin. Blood is also supplied to lungs and skin, so heat is lost by evaporation of water content in the blood and through lungs and skin. Then storage function. Blood serves as a ready-made source of substances stored in it, such as glucose, water, proteins, and electrolytes for use in emergency conditions like starvation, fluid loss, and electrolyte loss. So, when there is emergency conditions like starvation means lack of food or energy in our body, then fluid loss and electrolyte loss. In these conditions, blood serves as a ready-made source of substances stored in it. In blood, many proteinaceous and nutritive substances are stored in blood, like glucose, water, proteins, and electrolytes. They help us in emergency conditions. So this was the end of the video, and if anyone wants the PDF of this, then can ask in the comment section. Thank you so much.